chef. The sun also came out here in Borghetto sul Mincio. Look at this show. Very few people, indeed I can say none. The only restaurant open here in Borghetto. Then I'll show you some bread. Look what a spectacle lit up the sky. It was really tasty.
To be told the story here of the Templars here, who played a very important role. We are talking about the year 1200, but then you will hear the live voice of Michel, who is also a historian, and I was pleased. He knows this very short chef from a very, very important career. Well, that's all from the Maver channel, which, of course, greets you on this beautiful hamlet on the Mincio. See you soon for a re-entry of motorcyclists in his local was pleasant. He showed me the menus, really one story behind. A great chef and a nice person together with his wife Lucia. I remember it is a timbra of San Bartolo of the mountains. We are in Lecinia, here at Borghetto. Mother Brusco greets you warmly. Hello everyone, welcome to the Maver channel. Today I am in Borghetto sul Mincio, and just a few meters from the famous bridge over Mincio, here it is, the Amazon of the Templars. Here it is, I'm talking about menus and day. Look at the spit today. Look, and we get so close to them to see the photograph. But let's go see this Maison des Templars, which was really a barracks of, according to the Templars at the time. But let's go to the Chef Riccardo, who a history course told me exactly about this Maison. Let's enter directly. Look what a beautiful audience eats outside, even outdoors. Come on, there he is. Here is the Chef Riccardo. Here then Riccardo writes a little bit of history of this place, of this one that we told before, strategic, some significant given this.
It is the Maison of the Templars, not the Maison, but the Maison, which would be La Magione, the ancient mansion of the Order of the Templars. This is a church of the 19th century, not of the 1800s, but of the 19th century, rendered deconsecrated by the Pope and made to plans by the Templars. And why is that? Because here passed the Via Lexio, which was the path of indoctrination. It was the road that led to the Francigena, but there was the problem of the waters of the Mincio, which were very flowing. And it was a problem to cross, so we had to go to Mantua, skirt the whole myth, and it was 25 kilometers around the lake, go back up. The Pope wanted those Templars, for this reason, to divide precisely the water with two channels above. And the third canal is what you see here, which passes over the little bridge. And once it was a ford that was passed with little water to the ankles, so the pilgrims could stop here to eat in this room. And I will show you the serious hour, because once it was called the oratory where they ate, while the refectory came later with the Silesian meadows, the oratory. There was all this part here.
Look at what a beautiful room here.
This little room, including the entrance that you have seen, and is called oratory in such a way that pilgrims could dwell, which was then made to the plans of the Templars. Why? Because they let them stay here for a maximum of 3 days. They had made a rule that would then go throughout Europe. And it was in this house that famous saying was born. After 3 days, the guest is a bit heavy. Let's say stinks, we Dutch say it, eh?
Here's something else, quite interesting, right?
As you can see further on, going outside, after there is the bridge, there is the Church of St. Mark. The Church of San Marco was built on the apse of Santa Maria della Mason because they believed in the Madonna, not in the child Jesus, but in the Madonna, and this is the room where the refectory was. The other important thing, further ahead after the church on the left, is that little bridge that you pass under. Basically, that tower there, that is the whole Han, kept standing since 1283, was the drawbridge of the Templars. And nothing, this is the whole story, and the mahogany were made by the Templar himself.
Perfect. He told us a small slice of his extensive historical culture of the premises, and we also go to see the other room.
that he was carrying.
On the Via Francigena route, a historic pilgrimage path.
What did you mention before? Can you clarify? I'll make one.
Perfect kitchen. Let's see. It's a very historic place. Have you seen in what date it is that we can fix the historical period of this maison?
This maison, and back then the church was of the 19th century, but the Templars came here in 1283.
The year 1280.
383 until 1500, when the Visconti arrived and made Count Viscontigo with 500 legionaries in succession. They instead were a handful of people who defended in practice 3 pilgrims who were interesting.
Do you see how much history there is in this place? But there is also, as well as a passionate living historian, let's say. Now he will also let us see and smell his ample minimum of this Templar maison.
Then we make him. So then let's start from something very, very simple. Let's start from dal in practice. Everything we prepare in preparations made with pasta all start from pasteurized eggs. So we don't have any problems with any kind of pasta. Just do a procedure that is a little longer. But you get some, we make, I don't know, homemade tagliatelle, tortellini, which are really from Valeggio, tortellini and Valeggio, which are called gross love. And here too, there's a story about this. And then there are the tortelloni that we always make with ancient recipes. And here we are talking about recipes from the 500, because before we have never been able to find them written. And they are handed down only like La Benzamella di Pellegrino, uses later, etc. We start with meat, that we only take meat from Ireland. We only take filet and sirloin from Ireland, where they have never used glyphosate, because basically it is a land that has never used glyphosate. Therefore they are herbicides that are not, the meat is very pure and is very, very valid, very digestible. Then we make menus, we present menus, maybe if you want them.
Come on, let's have a look. Let's go outside. Then what do we give? Do we have more light? Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, look.
We make a spit, we make a Bresciana spit, which in practice we make the Bresciana spit every day, and it's a little bit long. We then observe the procedure with a Taragna polenta called polenta unchia, because we put it with butter. We get the butter from the Normandy area, which is the best butter. Take into account that in that area they make butter, and with what's left they make cheese. We make cheese, and with what's left we make butter. There is a nice difference, and it tastes different, all meat and tortellini and everything and nothing. This is the dough of the menus, which are ultimately always taken from the Templar menu.
Let's go see here. Take a little look.
Menu. Always here, because the meat from Ireland, we always talk about Black Angus.
You also see the press price list, so aren't you going to get scared?
Perfect, look at this.
It is the menu of the explanation, so give us a look for your appointment in this historic place by Chef Riccardo, who has a working history. Well, he said important before anyway. No, you can tell me.
The chef of Alto Palato with Gualtiero Marchesi, whom he attended cooking school. In that period, we were recreating the old recipes, the old dinners of the 500s, and the old dinners that Leonardo da Vinci made in practice when he invited Isabella da Ragione to Italy, and in fact later lived in Milan. And I was Bifi in Galleria, the chef of Bifi for 3 years in Galleria. Take into account that Bifi is the most historic restaurant in Italy. And I was Gucci's and Maurizio's private chef. Patrizia Gucci with Allegra and Alessandra Lefiume. And I opened the first gourmet restaurant in Lyon, France. I have made many collaborations, including with La Conla, with the Fieradel. At the time, it was not known that the fashion fair was so important. I was in charge of the fashion fair. How? How? Like cooking. Here, it was a good.
I guess so. In the meantime, let's say that the local was today, that Thursday, today is Thursday, and when we have 30, today is 30 of January, it is the only place open in the entire Borghetto. I have to say this, so I have to thank that if there were some rides, it was the only place, and it fished very well because I saw one beautiful gentleman, one who has a beautiful history on his shoulders, working, I think also family, certainly given its important dialectic, a culture that gave us my childhood. It was born for a moment, and I was very curious. In fact, I entered here to see for my next commitment to motorcycle trips, and then I found the suitable place. We have parking right in front of the local. Let's also go see it. This one here, yes. So let's go see. We can put motorbikes here. So there is no parking schedule. We are right on the banks of the Mincio. There he is. Look at him. Here, let's put the motorbikes, and there is all the parking.
You can also use the long part where there are long benches.
The river is here. So now we must wrap up. I want to extend my gratitude to Giuseppe and Riccardo, who has a Simbra wife from San Borto delle Montagne, the renowned village of Trombini that many are familiar with. I must also acknowledge Mr. Riccardo for his captivating story and taste. Next time, we will be back here for an enjoyable motorcycle trip organized by the motorcyclists of Città del Palladio, and we hope Mr. Michele's local establishment will host us. Thank you for your wonderful narrative.